Now we will go through the design. It is the first step in API lifecycle. So before that, we'll understand what kind of requirements we have. So based on that, we'll write a specification on that. So consider here we have a consumer app. The payment system is building one consumer app so that it will give some handy details about the payment. So this app will access the payment system. That is, we have complete payment system record here. So for the same, suppose consider it as a bank or payment gateway, any of the payment system. So it will, what it plans to do is it will want to expose some APIs. So it will expose /payment/payments ID. So it will, whenever customer wants to get details about, so some of the app, it can be used for other businesses in the same company, so they want to build an app, so get the payments details now. So this, what it consumer wants is this app, what they want is get payment details, complete payment details, then update payment details. So when a new update happened through other channel, so they want to update that payment details into the payment system record. So then get payment details by ID. If they was passed one ID, it will get the details of that ID. So in the first case, get payment details, get the all the details about the payment. Oh, when you pass particular parameters, like if you see below, so this kind of details they want. So they are passing these details to the payments API, pay type, what kind of payment they did, card mode, and which bank they did, which step C. So if they pass this, it will come to this system, whatever the API they developed. So it will return back the response to the consumer app. So in the second line, we have payment/1. It considers as the ID. So ID is 1. Then what happens here? It will fetch the details about the for this customer ID. So in this case, consumer app wants to make two API calls: get payment details, update payment, and get payment by ID. So the payment system record will expose these APIs now. So also there is one condition here. So the payment system is accepted all these banks only. So HDFC, Barclays, Bopa. So we have to call, we have to verify these banks only. So if other than these banks, it will fail, then the API call will not be progressed. So again here, which kind of payment they accept? So card, net banking, UPI, and the voucher. So this, when they are sending this, we will verify this kind of details are there. So here if you check here, when they are sending it here as a payments, pay type as a query, they are sending in the query parameters. So question mark, this query parameter, pay type, card, and then bank HDFC. So this way they are sending. So in this case, this is HDFC, then card is the payment mode is card. So this will accept the transaction, else it will not accept this transaction. So let's begin now how we can write a specification based on these details. So let's open the AnyPoint platform. There we have a design center. From there we can define this specification. Now I have opened anypoint.mulesoft.com. So this is the environment we will design our specification. So if you go here, we have options, design center. So go to this design center, and we have several options to create different kinds of fragments here. So now we need a complete specification. So go here, when you go here, create new API specification, you have to click on this one. So when you will give the API title as this related to payment, give the valid name payment API. So I'll give this one as payment API. So next I'll use this RAML 1.0 compatible, designing it on. So we can have other option also guide me through it. So it will have a UI for this. So we'll use the first one, RAML. You have other options also, RAML older version and OAS or 3.0 and 2.0. We'll go for RAML 1.0. Now I'll create API specification using these details. So it will open the editor, so it will helps to design our own specification. So now by default it got created these two lines. One is raml 1.0, we are using 1.0. title is payment API. So and we'll have, see in the left hand side you can see this is the root file is created, this is the main file, payment api.raml is the main file. So the exchange file is created always, so when we are moving it to exchange, so it will have this details about this API. So now this is the main file, so we'll construct the main file now here. So here raml is the title is there, then we'll have version here, what, so which version of API we are using. So I'll use 1.0 main version of this API here, is API version. So next we have seen like we need to have get method to get all the payment details. So and get by ID also, and also post method for the payment. So I'll use the payment get all payments here. So then we'll go to what kind of method do we want now, get payments and also post. We'll first go to the post, getting the details of the payment from the system record, then again post the details about the payment happened, will update it to the system again, system of record. So let's go to get now. So get, here you can see the options, the options will available here, the display name. So what kind of details we are getting here, get payment details. So we'll give some description here, what kind of API is this, get payment details. Then we have to have, see here the options, query parameters, we have to pass these two query parameters here. So here what we do is two types of the pay type, one is the pay type, okay, and as we noticed they want only particular set of mode of transaction happened. So we'll use the enum. So in that we'll define what kind of transaction mode is there, card. So then we'll use net banking. So this kind of details they want, UPI, unified payment interface. So then hyphen, then voucher. So these four kinds of payment options they're expecting or accepting here. So this one we did. Again one more thing is we have to define the one more query parameter, there is bank, it is of type, it is having 3 values, that also will use the enum. So it is having these values, HDFC, then they're given as Barclays, then BOPA, Bank of America. So I'm giving some names here, bank what they wanted, these 3 banks they'll accept. So same here as well, we can have the display name as well here. If you give the display name here, if you see the display name, this is the bank name, what you are giving is to display name, the bank details or something, bank details. Here also payment type, in the payment type also will have a display name, payment type. Okay, so that when the developer sees that, he can understand what kind of this, why we use this query parameter. So it's easy to read. So now we'll have one more option, we can get it here. This option is required or not, this is optional or required. So we'll check this one. So we'll have required option is there here, required. So we make it true. So here because payment type is card, this is fine. So again here we'll have one more option, required yes or no, this should be passed along with the request, okay, as a query parameter. So query parameter, if it's missing, this one I'll make it false. So this bank details not needed, but the details of how they paid is this is mandatory. So now why when they are passing the details pay type, it should be that if they don't pass bank also in the query parameter, it will accept. So I made it false here. So next is when the customer asked for a detail, so because of get we have to respond back. So the system record should respond back to the client, in this case the tab. So now we have to have the response, what kind of response we have to send them. So here if we check, there is a responses. What kind of response here? See here we have to give status 200 success, then body, what kind of body? JSON message we are sending it. Okay, now we are sending 200 with status code, or the type of message is JSON here. So okay, let's come back to this one again. So we should ask what kind of response. So we have to define what kind of response we are sending back. We have to define the object or the message format what we are sending back. We'll come back to this again. So this get method is overall it is done. So now we'll go to the other one, that is post method. So I'll go to the post method now. Let's go to the same indent as get here. So I'll move back the cursor here. So here where we have a get, here we'll add the post method here. So post, so here we are accepting the body in the post method. We are expecting the JSON message. Okay, so when we are expecting JSON message, so what we are sending response here is, and also we need to define what kind of JSON message we are expecting. We'll add it later. So now the response we have to send it back. So once the message we got it, so there's a responses, then what kind of is 201, the item is created here, whatever the data they pushed to the system, payment system, that record is created. So we are sending it 201 status code. Then the body, we are also sending back them in JSON format. So here we'll just send the message here to them, to the to the client. So here we'll use example here, then we'll add the message. So we'll add message payment record created successfully, that record is updated in the successfully in the system record, payment system record. So this one we are sending it back, this is done. So this message we are sending it back when they are sending the message. So also we need to define these things now. So when what kind of message we are receiving, and also what kind of message we are sending back in the get. Then one more operation was there, that is they are sending ID also in the URI parameter. So that also we have to define here. So if you go to the here payment system, so when there is a payment, under this payment we have to have this ID, under that we have to have ID here slash, okay, ID. I'll add the ID here, then the colon, then we'll get method here. So by get ID, per particular ID we are getting the details, okay, for that ID. So we'll follow the same thing what we did for get, display name. So payment details by ID, okay, getting by ID. So next the responses, what kind of responses you are getting it here. So we'll response 200 success 200, then the body, then what kind of message, JSON format message, and other things we have to define what kind of object we are sending to them. So this part is done now. This is overall definition, like get, payments, get, and having the post method, and this id slash id, payment slash id, having the get method here. So now we will define the object we are sending. So here this is like we are sending it back. Oh, this customer, uh, when you pass this data, like payment type and this one, how many customers are did payment with this kind of detail, so we are sending back. So application JSON, we are just mentioned here what kind of message format we are sending. We are not told what kind of data we are sending, that we have to define it here. So for that we will use the type keyword here. So next we will use here, if you see here, types are there. Type, what kind of type, which type, so we have to define that type now. Currently I'll use this one, customer. Okay, customer. So here get means number of customers, more than one, that will be array. I'll put it as array here. So currently if you see this giving a error because unresolved, so we not defined this type anyway. So next step is we will define that customer here. So this is array. If I take many, so if we use the same thing here, id, I'll use only customer. So body, we are responding back here, type here, customer only. So I'll not put array here. So next we will define this object here. So let me copy this here, and the top will go here. Then there is a type here. So in this we have to define our object types. So go here, paste this customer, you have to define what kind of customer. So this one will include, so include the definition now. So this customer referring to this data type now, so that one you have to define now. This customer added here, here and here. So this is referring to one more data type, that's object, you have to define it. I'll make one folder here, data type. Under this data type, so I have to define this, is not at all there now. Data type, under this I'll add this customer type ramal. So we have to define the extension should be ramal. So now we have to see the resource data type is not found, so this is giving this error. Now I'll add this ramal file under this data type folder here. So I'll create this now. I'll just copy this folder and create a folder here, new folder, data type. So data type folder created. Under that we have to create customer.ramal file. So I'll copy this and add new file. So here ramal 1.0 we are doing it now. Okay, then this is, you have to check, this is not specification, this one is a data type we are defining now. So you have to choose the proper option here, data type. Then the name is what we already given here, customer.ramal. Just create it. Now this got created. So here at the top you can notice this is the data type here. So now we'll create the data type here, what kind of data we'll need here. So first, what kind of type here, if you check type, this type is, what kind of type is object. So we have to define number of elements in this object now, what kind of data we are sending it back or receiving it. So properties, you have to define all the properties now. I'll define first id. So I'm putting question mark here because it can be optional. So some system id can be generated. So when you want to create a record in the system, so we send all the details except this id, but id generated automatically in the system. So that's what put question mark. This is optional one. Of type integer, this one is our type integer. Next I'll use the bank, it is of type string, it is of type string. Next, bank will having a code, bank code. This is of type string. We are defining the type here. What kind of type? Data type, transaction, date. This you can put a string or date format here, string, and the total items what he bought while doing the payment, how many items he bought here. Integer type. This all also you can make optional here. Then how much amount he paid, amount. Then this is of type number. Then the pay type is string. What type? This can be card, net banking, any other type here. So this is done. I'm just saving it now here. So this customer is created now. So object is created. Now if you go to the main root file here, so here you can see data type customer. I'm already there here. Just refresh this here. You'll get a valid API now. So it will remove it. I'll refreshing it. So now you can see there are no errors here. Just check now. We have done all the necessary things here. Now one is in the get method, we are receiving the details like payment type and the bank, and we are responding back with the customer details. The customer having these details, objects, ID, bank code, transaction date, item. So this one we are responding back to the customer who are asking this. So it can have multiple customers details payment. And in the post, we are expecting the customer details. So here if you see, body is application JSON. So we haven't mentioned here what kind of data the system record is expecting. So we have to do this now. So responses we already done. So once response is when everything is updated, we are sending back payment records updated successfully. Now we have to put what kind of data we are expecting. So type is will have, this is the customer. So already we defined this customer, this one, this is the one. So this is pointing to this type. So we are expecting that one now. So this is single customer for post, single customer, not a multiple like array. We are sending them list of customers details. So this is done. And in ID also we added single customer responding back to the caller here. So this completes our specification in design center. In the next lecture, we will modify this API specification to simulate the request and response.